today's video we're going to go ahead and show you how to build this very AR upper right here. This one here is a 20-inch upper with a Troy rail. I'll put all the specs in the link below, or the description below I should say. But this is a rifle I'm building for a friend of mine. I guess it's good to be my friend, right? But anyway, I'm building this rifle for him, and I figured I'd go ahead and film the process to help some of you guys out who are looking to know and get a little knowledge on how to build your or assemble your AR uppers. This video is obviously going to focus on the on ARs with free float rail, but if you don't have a free float rail, the process is really extremely similar. But anyway, without further ado, guys, we'll get into the video, and at the end, if you have any questions, feel free to post in the comment section or over at my Facebook page and let me know. Alright, we're going to go ahead and put the ejection port cover on. As you guys will see at the end, I'll include an outtake. I actually lost a piece while doing this originally, so what I'm going to do is, this is actually the semi-finished product here, and we're going to go ahead and put it on now that I got that replacement piece. You can do it two ways, either coming from the barrel way or the rear of the receiver way, and then we're going to do it from the rear of the receiver since this upper is already built with the exception of this ejection port. So basically what you're going to do is go ahead and take your ejection port, put it down, and the side you want to put in first is going to be, I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but there's a little bit of a notch right there, cut out. You're going to put that in going towards the barrel. So what you're going to want to do is just get it started and put it about halfway through until it just starts protruding from that end right there. Okay, and you're going to take your spring, get the spring out of my hand so you guys can see it. You got a long end and a short end. Basically you're going to rotate this 180 degrees, and I'll go zoom in here and get a close-up of it for you when I'm done. But you're going to rotate it 180 degrees, and let me go ahead and do that. And this long end right here is going to fit in this little cutout there in your ejection port cover. So we'll go ahead and do that. Slide that in first, and this is a little bit tricky, guys. I might not get it on the first take here on camera, but that's it. That's how it goes. And again, I'll zoom in here for you, for those of you guys that are kind of unsure of what I'm doing. But I gotta get it. Messed up. There you go. I'm gonna try to get it first, and then try to get you the camera angle. Just trying to do both at once is what caused me to mess up here the first time, and why you're seeing the completed project here. Alright, got it. So hold on 1 second. Put that through. You're going to keep pushing it all the way through, that rod all the way through, and line it up with the hole in near the end of the receiver. So what I'm going to do here is zoom in for you guys so you can see how that spring is actually oriented on there. You can see the small end up here, and the way to test it out is basically just test it like you would on a regular functioning AR-15. Close it up, and then hit it from the inside. Make sure there's spring tension on there holding it up, and there is. Now what you're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and take our clip. This clip is what I lost, which again I'll include that footage at the end if I can find it. And you can put that clip on where the little cutout in your rod here is. So you're just going to slip it on there. Again, guys, this thing is real tiny and real sensitive, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead and insert it on. Oh, I didn't get it that time, but I didn't lose it, so I guess we're making progress. Back it off. And we finally got it on there, guys. It's clipped in. And just to check, you want to just push this back, make sure the clip's doing its job so it can't come out. And as you can see there, it can't come out. And our ejection port cover is good to go. We're going to go ahead and move on to the rest of the build now. To install your forward assist, I went ahead and put it in a vise here, but you don't have to. Basically, you're just going to take your spring and your forward assist with this end, you see here, angled inward. You're going to go ahead and put that in, and when you look through the top of your receiver, you're going to see when a certain part there, I'll go ahead and point it out. Basically when this part right here, this part right here goes ahead and passes the little roll pin punch point, you're just going to go ahead, and I'm going to take just a little needle here and push it up from the bottom. If you have a punch that fits, that'll work just fine too. But I only have one that fits, and we're going to use it here, so I'm not gonna do that. We're just gonna put that in there, and that way it'll hold it in place while you're gonna go ahead and drive the punch in. Oh, the roll pin, excuse me. So you're gonna take your roll pin we have here and just get it started. Tap it in. Alright, got it started in there. And let's drive it in. While you're driving the roll pin in, you want to just keep checking that your forward assist is still functioning and that you're not getting all bound up. So we're just going to go ahead here and finish it off until that roll pin is flush. The barrel that we're using today came with a pin front sight, so I went ahead and shaved that down. I do have a tutorial on how to do that in another video. I'll put a link here for you guys, but we're just going to move on. If you have a low pro gas block, you'd be using that as well, so that's kind of why I skipped the step. Basically what you want to do here, when you're putting your barrel in, you can see this one has that little nub right there, and that's going to line up with the indent that's on your receiver. So you're going to go ahead and put that in, make sure it seats all the way down, and then you're going to start screwing your barrel nut in, whichever barrel nut you're using. So on this one we are using the factory barrel nut because we're using the Troy Alpha rail for this build. But basically you're just going to keep turning that down until it gets snug, and then we're going to torque it down to specs. So, alright, it's about hand tightened right there. We've got torque wrench next, and the AR barrel wrench. So, just going to do that, get it torqued down, and then go ahead and move on to the next step, which will be the rail installation in this case. But it's hard trying to do it with you guys actually being able to see too. So, but you want to also make sure that when you're torquing it down, you want to test fit it with the gas tube to make sure you have it in the right place. We'll get that out next and show you what I mean by that. So on this one here, it actually lines up pretty well. You can see there it goes over that one ridge on the or tooth, I should say, on the barrel nut, and slides right into place just fine. So that one's good to go. If it wasn't though, if your barrel nut was a little bit off, you just move it. Either way, keep in mind that you just keep it in spec. That's why there's such a wide range of poundage when you torque it down, because they kind of have to allow for the gas tube to go in. So anyway, this one works. We're good to go. We're going to go ahead and put the gas tube in next. So to put your gas tube in, I think it's generally easiest to just go ahead and put the side with the actual roll pin in there that goes up here by your gas box. Just put it in through the back of the receiver. I find it generally easier to do it this way. So go ahead and put it in through there. Go over your barrel nut. Work it down until you are right where your gas block's going to be. So we'll get that close, and then I'll zoom in on the gas block for the rest of the process. So there you see that we do have our gas tube lined up right here with the gas block. Obviously you want to have the open port facing down because that's where the gas is coming from. And you're going to go ahead and insert it into your gas block. Again, this one here is just a cut down front sight, and if you were using a low pro gas block, it would work the same. Alright, so we got it lined up now that you see the hole coming out of your where the pin goes through. We're going to go ahead and drive that roll pin through, and that'll be it for the gas tube. Just a side note, guys, I know this isn't finished off. I'm going to cold blue it when I get home. I forgot to bring it out here with me, so I'm just going to use some cold blue to protect that metal. Anyway, we're just going to drive this roll pin home, and that'll be it for the gas block. And there you see we drove the roll pin in, and it is flush. We're going to move on now to the rail. I'm going to try to show how the Troy rail works here. Basically, you're going to have 3 of these little inserts right here in my hand. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's these little cutouts on the inside of the rail. I'm trying to work the angle so maybe you guys will be able to see it. It's tough, but basically there's little insert sections that are cut out of the rail. And you're just going to line that up so that way the flat part up here up front interfaces with one of those rail sections, and you line up right there on your rail, and that's where the bolts are going to go in, the hex screws, excuse me. So we're going to do that next and show you what that looks like. Once you put the rail on the barrel, what you have to do is you have to get it past the gas block, and then you start putting your little inserts in here. So I already put this one in, but basically what you do is you just put it in there with your finger, get it lined up with the hole, which it is there, and then we're going to go ahead and put these little bolts in that come in, or the hex screws rather. We're going to put those in with a little bit of blue Loctite that comes with it. The blue Loctite, for those of you guys who don't know how it looks when it comes, is in these little things right here. You just put a dab right there on the threads, and we're going to go ahead and thread that in loosely for all 3 of them all the way around. So just going to loosely put those 3 in, and then I'll show you the next step. We have all 3 screws loosely in there, and what you're going to do here is you're going to go ahead and put your rail over, and it's going to be slightly offset as you see here with the Troy rail. And now what you're going to do is you're going to grab it and turn it, and it'll snap right into place. And now you're just going to torque down these screws until they're hand tightened. Just hand tighten them, and then that Loctite will dry up, and it'll snug it right in there. So you don't want to torque the crap out of them. Just hand tighten them down with the hex wrench here and let that Loctite do its job. Last thing we got to do is put that muzzle device on. So go ahead and put some anti-seize compound there around the threads. Go ahead and put your crush washer on there and put our muzzle device on there. This one here is the custom muzzle brake that I reviewed a long time ago. My buddy saw it and he wanted it, so I decided I'd give it to him for this build. Now typically you're going to go ahead and use your AR armorer's wrench to go ahead and snug that down, but this one is an off size, so I'm using a standard wrench, and you're just going to turn it a quarter turn and then back off and then do it again, another quarter turn and then back it off. And the reason you do it like this, guys, instead of just cranking it down all at once, is so you don't bind those threads up. So you just keep doing that until your brake or muzzle device, if you're using a flashlight or whatever, or comp, is where you want it to be. So you just keep turning it and then back off, so make sure you don't bind that thread up. And there you go. I think that's it. I think we got it there. So that's going to be it. We'll show you the finished product here next. Oops, that one slipped out. It is kind of touchy, but just going to push it on there.